Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. First thing I'd like to say is a big thank you to all my subscribers. It does mean a lot to me. I do try and do videos that I'd want to watch myself, and it's nice to see them being watched and comments come in. Everything's positive, so that's all good. So yeah, just want to say thank you for that. Also, just like to make an amendment on my last video where I was going on about my styrene cutter. I went to cut this piece of styrene here, which I don't think is particularly big, and the cutter broke. So I personally, I might have been unlucky, but to me that's not very good. It's only about the 15th thing I think I went to cut and it was snapped. This piece here has been like 3D printed, so I don't know whether or not the strength is there, isn't there. Like I said, I don't know if I was unlucky, but it's broke, so that's not good. So I've ordered one from Australia. It was a lot more expensive than this, but I think that you get what you pay for in this life. I suppose I could have sent this back and sort of said to them, you know, it's no good, but I'm sure what they've done was sent me a replacement. To which, if that's going to break again in 10 minutes, there's no real point in having it. So yeah, it's the age-old adjective. If you want something, the more expensive you can pay, the better. So I'll show you the one from Australia when it arrives, but it does look like a really good one. I think it's very similar to the one that Luketown uses. Today's video is coming to you from the office, as David Dean Park would say. And I'd like to dedicate today's video to Steve at Railtec. He's not paying me to say this. This is just my own personal opinion. And his range of decals are getting bigger, and I find them really easy to use. I have obviously in the past. Fox was the only ones that you could sort of use. And on some of the Foxes, or on the Foxes sort of like numbers, there's like a little tabs underneath that you need to use to line up. I suppose you can cut them off before you actually apply the decal, but a lot of the time you can line them up with the tabs. But I find that to be a bit of a pain, and then when you come to cut them off, unless I'm doing it wrong, I didn't really find that to be the most user-friendly way of doing it. Like I said, that was the only thing available, so it was a case of it would either take it or leave it. And if you look at some of my earlier 47s, you can sort of see where the film is cut underneath. I mean, you have to look closely, but it is there. As where with Railtec ones, I think they're on a slightly thinner film, and by the time you put a coat of clear over it, they become virtually invisible, which is what you want. So yeah, I've got absolutely, you know, his range is brilliant. So I'd found this BG or this Gov at parked at Gillingham. It's probably, well, we're going back to the mid-80s, and it has some extra lettering on it. And I thought, yeah, do you know what? I wouldn't mind doing that, because part of obviously looking at it from model rail, you like to sort of try and pick out some little sort of bits and pieces that are kind of bespoke to yourself, or very sort of limited anyway, let's put it that way. So I kept looking at, every now and again I'd sort of flick through these pictures and go, oh yeah, I should perhaps do something about that. And so I sent them to Steve at Railtec and said, look, you know, I know you understand you do bespoke bits and pieces, you know, can you help? He's come back and said, well, obviously, you know, time is of premium, as it is for all of us, and I do bespoke bits and pieces, but it's a case of, you know, as and when. He said also, you know, I may not be able to help you. He said, you know, I said, look, I said, that's absolutely fine. I said, I'll just send you the pictures and you can have a look for yourself and then see what you think, come back to me. So I sent him the pictures. I got confirmation back to say that he'd received them, and then I suppose probably 6-7 weeks later he came back to me and said, asked a couple more questions, which I answered, and probably about a month or so after that, he emailed me to say that they were in the range, which I was really pleased with. So I promptly went and bought them, and now I thought it was only fair and fitting to actually apply them to the coach with yous. So that's what we're going to do. The decals are return to Red Bank /long sight, and the product code is 1380. I'll leave a link or something down below so you can see that, but that's what his product code is on these. So I ordered myself a Bachmann glove, and it just so happens that it's an NKV, which is the correct one for what I want to do. So I've just taken off the number, the original number, and that was just with a bit of isopropyl alcohol on the end of a cotton bud. Actually come off a lot easier than what I thought. I thought that might have been going to be a right pain, but it didn't take much work to get off at all. So number gone. I've left the other bit on there because there's no point in taking it off, just to reapply the same thing. And yeah, so we're going to look at some pictures of where the decals go, and I'm going to apply them to the coach. So the first thing to do is cut them off the, you separate them up. Then just dunk them in some plain tap water. And now what I do is I just put a little drop of water roughly where I'm heading to put them. Something like that. And then take one out. And drop it. And then gently TV it off. And that's it applied. In the grand scheme of things, I suspect very little people are actually going to notice that. But as I said, it's one of them things that I know it's there, and it's just something sort of personal to me that I've seen, and it's just something that I just like to do. I just think it's the little tiny bits like that that sort of set things off. It's been known in the past where we've had something like this on the layout, and the guy's actually come along that's actually done that. And yeah, you'd be surprised just how happy that makes people. So yeah, it might only be a little thing, but it's sometimes really nice just to sort of, like I say, just to add a little bit of bespokeness to things. Something else I'd found of his was these chalk writing. So on the going back sort of like into the 80s and probably the very early 90s, they used to write a destination in chalk, which would be on these like black bits here are actually chalkboards. So they used to just chalk in a location, and then obviously once it arrived they would then wipe it off, etc., and redo it. So it was just a quick way of sort of where the train was going. And yeah, so when I was looking through the Railtec website again, he's actually done them all for sort of different regions. I think there's 4 or maybe 5 of them. Again, I'll leave a link to what they are. But I just thought they were absolutely brilliant. So I've been applying them to my coaches. Again, it's a little tiny detail, but I think it's just little things like that just make the model for me. So I'm just going to apply a couple of these. You probably won't be able to see them because they're quite small, but just to the chalkboards, just where sort of the coaches have been. I know the actual prototypical one I've got of this at Gillingham hasn't got, it's just blank, but it don't mean to say that it's not going to go back into Gillingham, get some parcels in it and prompt off to wherever it's going. And of course most of mine are Scottish locations, just because I like that sort of thing. That's just personal to me. So it's come from Dundee and Edinburgh. Don't know if you can feel focus. And then going to Oxford. So yeah, just another nice little touch that you don't usually see. So for weathering, I was watching Richard at Everard Junction, and he used weathering powders, and he added acrylic thinners to them, which is something I'd never done or never seen before, and he got some right brilliant results. So I'm going to give that a crack for the first time, so I'm going to knock some up and then we'll see what happens. So that was a run past of my short parcels train. The Gov sitting in front of us now is the one that's got some special decals done from Steve at Railtec. They are now available in his range, and I'll leave a link below so as you can find them if you desire. There was photographed at Gillingham in about the mid 1980s. I'll also put a couple of pictures up of the sort of the original coach so as you can see for yourself. But very nice. I've also weathered the coach. I don't know whether or not it's slightly over weathered or not. I was looking at what Everard Junction had done, and these coaches did get really dirty, and it's kind of one of them things where you sort of depends on what day. I mean, they may have been that they got washed, it may have been that they hadn't been washed for some time, and this would have also been an older coach, so it would have been kicking around on the network for a lot longer. So yeah, it's weathered. It's probably slightly heavier than what I would have liked, but in the train I don't think it looks out of place, so I'm gonna go with that. I've still got to clear coat it just to protect the decals, but it's far enough, I thought, for producing the video. I was at Getz yesterday, and you know, a fantastic day had by myself. It was really nice to meet some of the YouTubers at the meet-up at lunchtime. Alan from Dragon Junction, absolutely lovely. Got to meet Richard from Everard Junction for the first time, fantastic guy, and countless others as well. So yeah, it was really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and can't wait till next year. So yeah, thank you to everyone. Thank you for everyone for turning up. Everyone that spoke to me, it was good. I really enjoyed it.
Hello, so today you join me coming from Great Electric Train Show. I'm on the Wirral Finesdale stand, on the demonstration stand. So I sort of like muscled my way in here a little bit to come and just finish off the last couple of bits. So the next project, or the next thing I need to do, is to is to fix some axle boxes into these wagons. Where I put my P4 axles in, I'm getting a lot of slop. It's all right, but when they sort of hit something, they're falling off. So I need to drill out these and fit my roller bearings.
It's commercial software. So yeah, I know. I'm really not sure what to do about using German.
And what I've actually got for this is like a milling tool. So you've got one end's got a 2mm drill piece in, and then the other end is just like almost got like a point on it. So that sits in one side and that fits in the other. So when you're actually cutting it, it's very square, and it does actually work. And then this is also adjustable, so as you can take it in and take it out depending on the width you need. So I tend to just set it out a little bit and then chuck it in.
It's not cheap, but it's nice. To be honest, we're using an older version. We're using 5.8. We've got a license for gold. It's not. You have to pay a lot of money in the new version to get to.
Hello.
For it to be adapted.
I'm just in the midst of doing myself a YouTube video, hence the camera. But what I'm actually doing is I'm fitting some bearings inside my Hornby Taupe. So I've had issues. I model P4, so they're slightly further apart.
I've been innovating.
Yeah, I mean the axles. The original axles I had in here. I don't know what I've done with them. Normally, what I would do is I would put my wheels, because it would be a 2mm axle to start off with. So I would normally just take the wheels off of the Hornby one effectively and just put my own wheels on it. But in my infinite wisdom, I pulled the wheels out, launched them, and then realised that when I got to put the 26mm axle in, I was getting a bit of slop. So they'll go in.
Even with something simple like this,
it's like they're too loose.
You turn that screen
so
on
that's fine like that. It'd probably run up and down, never any problems. But if it hit a bump, then they fall out. Well, when you're at a show and you've got a rake of them, last thing you want is that happening. So. Yeah, please.
With a double slip, it locks, then it tries to lock the three other things at the same time. And they go off like this, and you end up with a double slip.
I mean, this has a double slip in there.
Don't want P4. I've also got enough space now to set my. I've got fine
That's the double slip
layout.
Oh, that's a lot better than what I'm planning on.
But in all honesty, on our layout where we've got a double slip, we just put two back-to-back
Our
points.
layout's in a cabin which is heated, although you do get temperature variations.
See, I couldn't do as easy as you're
It's
doing
been up for
there.
now 3-4 years.
Yeah, I can see what you. Yeah,
That's how we do a double slip, because that's all it is.
it is.
Yeah, and to be honest, we find it's easier to set up, and it's easier sometimes for people to understand because they get confused by double slip.
Once I've got it in position,
Sticky.
Okay, so I'm back.
Underneath the steam engine changing, yeah.
Yeah, so the idea is that goes in there. So that goes in like that, and then it's just a simple case of turning it to bore out the holes.